Hello, you all people are welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Chamu Prabhat. Today also I'm going to speak about uh, the same topic which I was discussing earlier. And yes, the topic is time. We had been talking about the time a lot. It's we have talked already uh, almost about 1 hours and 4 minutes, and today also I'm expecting to continue it at least 1 hour. So in what manner we are going to talk? Not we are. I'm going to talk about it's just a thinkable. Yes, I will talk about time associated phrases that we come across every situations, because we just don't want to think, and we don't spend time to think what kind of things that are associated with the time. Time is associated mostly with money. People spend their time for earning something, because this world is almost depend world not is world almost depends on money, income, on the base of income, demand and supply kinds of economy. We have we have this type of economy, demand and supply. When there is an demand, there is a supply. It's according to the economic studies of the economics. So you have 24 hours period of time for a day, and you spend sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time you prefer to spend 8 hours for sleeping, and then the rest of the time can be dedicated for any particular thing that you wish to do. If you were not born in a wealthy family, so you have to gather some amount of money to consume for your daily consumptions and to fulfill other kinds of needs that you can see that people are enjoying. Because with the help of money they are enjoying their life, we can see. But if you go to the deep situation and thinking properly, according to the great scholars who were in the world uh, at that at the time of speaking also, but in the earlier times, Lord Buddha and Jesus Christ and almost other religious teachers. I'm sorry, not mentioning your religious teachers, the name of your religious teachers, because I'm not following most of the religious perspective, except in Buddhist psychology and theoretical approaches about the psychology of the world, and sometimes of counseling also. Yes, a time. We can imagine a person who doesn't have enough money to spend their life properly, as he can see the lives of other people. He might have to work. He might have to work. Yes, it can be used. He might have to work at least 8 hours period of time, because the officers or the organizations or the businesses provide opportunities for the people who only prefer to work mm, at least 8 hours period of time. We can imagine you really want to earn a little amount of money for food or for medicine and for transportation. We will think it would be around 500 rupees. So you can't work a limited amount of time to earn that amount of money, because uh, companies are running to gain profits. They can't hire employees all the time, so they really want a fixed employer, not employer, employee, so they can carry on their business tasks smoothly. So whether if you are interested working in longer hours or shorter hours, you have to adapt the situation which is provided by the organization you are going to be employed. Yes, most of the time people are money oriented, and they don't think about the leisure that they can get out of other than working and earning money. I'm not talking about the people who like to spend the life lazily. Hmm. And I can think I can remember some past incidents that happened to some people around me, especially one a couple of my friends. Also, they spend most of their time for earning money because they didn't improve their talents while they were studying in their schools and while they were having some professional qualifications. Not while they were having, they didn't want to get such kind of professional qualifications for mastering and not mastering for fulfilling their future needs. That's the wrong attitude that they were maintaining since the past. Yes, and we were in the discussion of time and money. So, uh, according to the economic situation in Sri Lanka, no one can survive except the billionaires in the country without working even a day or two for a month. You can think the price of the goods is increasing and its rocketing rate of increasement we can see, and no one can survive except the billionaires, as I mentioned earlier. So when you spend your time for a funeral or a party or a fun occasion or anything, you might not get the wage that is for the day. So it's a huge it creates a huge gap for your expenditure because your income is not growing too fast as the expenditure is rising. That's a shortage that we can see in our country, but when we think of other developed countries, not developed countries, particularly in Bangladesh also, it was evident that most of the people, Sri Lanka, not most of the people, by people wise can't get fund transactions. The current government of Sri Lanka had got some funds, not some funds, uh, debts from Bangladesh also. Bangladesh also is a developing country, and Sri Lanka was the same, but very in the very back row in terms of development. So back to the topic, uh, I can get a good example. Uh, yes, time and money. Time and money. So your time, just think you are in the very foot of your youth. You can imagine you are 18 years of age, so your time is going, so you can get the enjoyment, education, and you can get the work experiences, and you can get money and enjoy your life fully according to the way that you are wishing. So let's imagine now you are 18 years of age and you want to have good education. You want to have a further education. So you are spending your time to get further education. So you are not using your time for earning money. So and the final result also might be money oriented, but it takes time. So if you really, I'm using so a lot, and while I'm talking, it's better to reduce that source as much as possible because it's an early stage of speaking. That's why I think that I am getting so much source while I'm speaking. That's pretty cool. It's okay to do mistakes. It's okay while we are talking. The only thing we really need is talking every time, no matter you are talking in the topic, on the topic, out of the topic, or the topic, wherever you go, you are speaking just enough. Talking nonsense also credited in this situation, right? And youth might think some youth might think, yes, it's enough to have it's enough spending our valuable time for studying something new and improving our education side without touching the monetary perspective. So they try out some specific jobs which provide them some amount of money. They don't prefer to get a big amount of money. They really don't want a big deal. They never expect 100,000 rupees for a month. That's very simple. When you have improved your qualification in terms of the experience which are needed for doing a better job in relevant fields that you are going to face on. And they are thinking, yes, I don't have time. This is my very early stage of youth, so I should entertain my life. I want to buy these kinds of smartphones and want to travel around the world. Not around the world. There's a book also called Around the World in 80 Days. So please focus the Reform Club. I would like to mention the name also. When I am mentioning the name, it comes to my mind really a great inspiration that around the world in 80 days. He was a wonderful guy. He was unknown to the public, but he made his journey wonderfully well, traveling around the world and bringing a wife uh, who was in Asian countries called India. That's uh, attack point that I have brought to here. So it's not relevant to here. It's not relevant not to. It's not relevant here. Right. Likewise, those kinds of student might think, yes, it's better to spend the time earning money. So they earn money. They come to a right track. They come to a correct track, because without earning money or without understand the value of money, you will spend your time uselessly. So you are going to think that time is equal to money. Yes. So every second that passes through you think how to create money using the time. So you don't want to sleep, you want to earn money. So you don't want to get a good education or to get a good experience using some training programs, because those training programs only provide a little amount of money. Sometimes I can remember the time when I was studying at my university. Some training programs were provided for some accounting field students, 2500 rupees for a month. What can we do with 2500 rupees for a month? It's before this crisis. It's also a good amount of money for living a week, but not for a month. They have to wear clean clothes, not clean clothes, nice kits, and because they are going to be the accountants in the future, so they should dress well. For the buying part of these attires also cost a great deal of money. So that 2500 wage was completely not enough for them, but still they did it. And now chartered accountants might get, they know I'm going to mention some amount of money, but it's not be the relevant one or the correct, not relevant, the correct one. Yes. Now might be in a developed country, it might be around 20 million rupees, not 20 lakhs, 2 million rupees or 1.5 million rupees for a month. Fantastic job opportunities. Yes, time is money. So you might be thinking that you have to face the exam, A-level exam this year, and you are thinking, I don't want to waste my time. I just only face for my A-level exam on one sitting, and if I passed, not I am. If I pass or not, that's the last time that I'm doing this A-level examination, because I have great hopes and I don't have much time to waste and ruin my and spoil not ruin spoil my life. So I have heard that story from one of my best students in my village. I had conducted her. Yes, it's a girl, a student. I had conducted her several English classes, English sessions for O level examination, and she is now doing, yes, she is now doing in the streams of mathematics or maths, in the streams of maths, and she's doing wonderfully well. And she has said, she has told her mother that she's only doing uh, one time her A level exam on only one sitting. Whether it's okay or not, because time is valuable, not time is money. Time is so valuable. Yes. Let's imagine time is money. Time is money. Right. Your initial working time ends at about 5 o'clock. If it is going to be extended furthermore 1 hour or 2 hours, it might be around 7 o'clock at night. There is no nature lightning, not lightning, nature lights. So when the bulbs are on, you are ending your work. So some people think it's better to work 2 or 3 hours overtime and get 1.5 into amount of money, because you are paid more than zero point 0.5 or 1.5 amount of wage that you normally get according to a normal day. So it might be for a normal day from 8 hours, from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 200 rupees for an hour. And it will be the, if you are really doing overtime, it will be around 3000 no, 350 rupees, or in weekends, at weekends, not in on, at weekends, particularly on Sunday, you will be paid twice the usual amount of payment that you really get. So people like to work because they get money, and every time they spend their time working hard, because they are thinking that, yes, if I spend my time, I can get money. It's okay to toil my body and to undergo some mental pressures, uh, even not even if I can really get some amount of money, because there are my kids and my wife who is waiting at home to be fulfilled, not to be fulfilled, to fulfill their uh, needs, not wants, particularly to fulfilling the basic needs. Also in Sri Lanka, people have to earn a large sum of money today. It might be 8,000 rupees or 9,000 rupees for a four members family, mother, father, son, and daughter. So what about the situation in the past? If they had real 50,000 rupees, it would be enough to survive for a family with 10 members or more than 10 members. What time has created? Time has created a money oriented society. So, after a long time, I use so it's better. And yes, according to this type of thinking, people really tend to think, yes, it's useless to spend time for leisure activities. It's useless to spend our time talking with friends, chatting, and they tend to gossip after having their work completed. They are searching Facebook, going up and down, and YouTubing most of the time, finding gossips and interesting facts that can entertain you without giving you anything. And also it contributes to increase your stress within you and create a separated world that's which is recommended for stressed people who work really hard for earning money, and they will entertain with those silly little mistakes. And I also have a witness, not witness, I also have some experiences of watching those kinds of videos, not fully, but for a couple of seconds, and I just erased those kinds of videos because they are continuously showing for me. They are continuously being showed, not showing. They are continuously being showed for me because of the one. If I really click once, they are suggesting the same kinds of videos that are relevant for me. So I have to just continue by clicking those kinds of videos. That's a waste of time. Right. Time and money. Is it enough of my talking? No, no, I'm not satisfied with that kinds of explanation and talking. We will go to the topic deeper. For a student, time is not money. Time is enjoyment. Not time is education. uh, if the student really think that time is education, time is money, not time is money, they can't create time into money while they are studying at their schools. So, again, by thinking deeply, after their school time, they try to do something to earn money. Mm. They gather the children in Norelia district or in those places, Matale, where they are. We can see lots of beautiful uh, flowers in bushes. So they collect a bunch of flowers and sell to the people who are traveling through these roads to Norelia or Noor or any local area. So they are pretty conscious to buy those kinds of bunches of flowers because they haven't seen these kinds of flowers. So they are doing wonderfully well, and they are providing some sort of enjoyment or excitement with flowers to earn money. They have to spend a little amount of time because they have to get into the little bushy areas and collect the various kinds of flowers into one bouquet, and it's usually amount to 200 rupees because it's beautiful and it's amazing for a person who didn't have any experience, who haven't got any experience having such kind of flower bushes natural. And in that manner, those kinds of students are earning. Sometimes they go to the market with their family members, sometimes they go to the river for fishing with some of their friends, also for earning money because they just don't want to spend their time uselessly. And to tell you that some students in some urban areas, they have set up some stores which carried for repairing shoes and broken umbrellas, and they can earn money. One day I went to a repair person of my umbrella. At that time, umbrellas were really cheap, and a new one was around 350 rupees. And this is a story before 10 years maybe. So now an umbrella is costed 1,350 rupees. So it's a thousand increasement in 10 years. Three times. Three times happened. It's very recently happened situation. So to get the umbrella repaired, 250, new umbrella is amounted to 350. Not knowing the real price of those uh, goods, people tend to go to these repairs persons, and it's not the situation for slippers or shoes. And shoes also, at that time they got I can remember clearly because most of the time my shoes were broken all the time because I was hitting the stones while I was walking to my school. Walking is enjoyable, and other than walking, kicking on everything is also very enjoyable. And for children, time is enjoyment. Time is not education. Most of the children in classes, they really don't get education because they really don't know. We are in the classrooms to have a good education. We should be great scholars. We should maintain a good level of education that's really need for our future. And the teachers also at my when I was in my school, I wasn't advised by teachers, you should study in this way. This is how students really want to study, and if you really study in this format, in this way, you will get good improvements improvements, achievements. You can get good achievements. You should have great targets. Students are not taught like this. So I prefer the children who are in, particularly in a government school, because the children who go to no, semi-government schools, not semi-government schools, which is conducted in the medium of English most of the time, and they know why should they study. But the poor students who are studying in local areas with the help of government, with a limited amount of resources, they are having a shortage of information. Why do they really want to get a good education? And they just come to school, spend their time wonderfully well playing or chatting or exploring their mind, their dreamy world, or sometimes having some illegal drugs, ice, and some lots of drugs are coming in the shape of some tablets also. So that devil is allowing our great students who are going to be the great people in the future. That's also a one side we should talk. And further, not I'm talking here for improving my spoken English. And there are great people who get a big amount of salary for reduction, or the people who really have the responsibility for eradicating those kinds of illegal harmful drugs from those poor families, from these poor innocent children, because families will go to the hell, not heaven, as a result of these uh, dangerous drugs. So time is enjoyment, and most of the time we can see only a couple of students. It might be around 6 or 7 students. I'm talking about the local students, local, not local students, students in local schools, in village side schools, not in urban areas, highly urbanized areas. Mm, Only 5 or 6 of the students. The classroom might be around consists with 40 students or 45 students, and they also might have uh, 3 classes or at least 4 classes, 120 students for each grade in one area. So among them, uh, 5 into 3 or 4, 20 students uh, only have the real necessity of getting a good education, because they are thinking clearly, because they know the facts why I am studying, why I should get a good education. Our parents are really poor, we can't get on from this position. This is really ground level. If I want to touch some steps above the ground level, 1 story or 2 stories or couple of stories, our life would be wonderfully well. Then we can think even about the situation that we can think about also. And that's also a counseling part that should be given for those kinds of children, because lack of information, they can't come into a final conclusion. Why should I do like this? Come to school and get get a good chat and enjoyment, and leave home for searching food. That's the reality, and that's the nature which has been becoming, which has been not becoming, which is happening, yes, which is happening in our country. Time is enjoyment for students. Just think this situation: a man who has done his degree in an irrelevant field because of lack of information. We will get an example like this: a person who really wants to do a counseling job, and for his A level examination, he has covered the stream of commerce and accounting, and he has got qualified for the management department of University of Sri Jayawardenepura, and he has completed his BSc degree successfully, and returning for the thoughts: why did I do, why had I do, why had I done lots of mistakes while speaking, why had I done. or why have I done this degree instead of this. So when you think this is the correct path, but if you have really come a long way through an irrelevant path, it's very difficult to look backward and get the adjustment that you need. And a person who is really um, maybe we will get 40 years of age, and he is thinking this is not the correct path that is really need for me, and I should adjust myself and I do something strange, something new, something really applicable for my path. So time is really valuable for that kind of person because he don't have any money or a particular vision, fixed vision towards the future, or experience also, because he has to go back and he can't get the time and fulfill the necessary requirements which are needed for a particular for that kind of job that he really needs. Yes, and he's thinking it's okay, I will get a loan from my brother, or I will sell one a plot of my land and I get some amount of money, and from this very point of start, from this very starting point, I should get a good experience and good training. When I am given a lot of money or a little amount of money without any payments, unpaid situation, the reality is that person really wants to get a good experience with a good training, so he finds relevant informations. There are lots of information. For example, we will get, if I really want to do some kinds of psychological training program, there are tons of universities in Sri Lanka, even though it's a developing and a little country. Tons of tons of lots of private and public universities which are offering diploma courses for psychology and counseling, and with a range of prices, one time payment, only one time payment at the start, at the point of uh, what is it called, I have no words, at the point of the submitting of the application, at the submitting date, on the submitting date of the application form, the total payment has to be paid. uh, it is around 1,20,000 rupees and 1 lakh in one payment. So they have to take a choice, and they may make a choice, and they want to get that experience and that proficiency, because he sees a wonderful future with that experience and that skills, because he is creating his own path with information. To tell you a wonderful story, there are lots of websites which provides wonderful IT jobs. Those IT jobs suggest, yes, this type of jobs offer 20 lakhs, that means 2 million rupees for a month. And the tuition teachers also, they are also telling that you can earn around 2 million rupees for a month if you are doing hackers course in IT sector, or and similar stories are going on. But when the students have completed their studies education using getting the knowledge of IT sector, or some diplomas, or some certificates, have completed 3 years of period of time in this type of computing systems, and where can I find that type of job which provides such amount of money? Fake informations, not informations, fake information. Information is uncountable, and sometimes it is used as information, also a bit of confusing, we can see. Yes, time is experience. Time is a skill acquiring for them, even though they are getting old and they are not earning money. They have a bit of sacrification to win their life. And sometimes he might die after getting that kind of skill, and he has to work in the hell or in the heaven that's prescribed by his religion or according to his thoughts, and sometimes it is depend on the actions that the person has done early before his death, has done or had done can be used. Right. Time is experience. Time is enjoyment. Sometimes for people who really seek enjoyment by talking or watching a film or walking around some beautiful parks and strolling out into the streets, into busy streets, time is enjoyment. When you have time around 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening, so it's a wonderful time to have a stroll into the countryside or even to into a busy streets because people are moving and they are buying lots of things and they are hastening to achieve their things which are really essential for the household purposes because it's getting late. You have to get the things ready for your dinner or to get the things prepared for the next day for the school. Likewise, people are really busy to see that wonderful sight without engaging those kinds of activities. You just watch it. It's like a TV. You are out in the street and you are watching TV. That what type of actions that people are doing. They are really busy acquiring things and selecting things and rejecting and sometimes bargaining and sometimes fighting. No matter what's the outcome, they are enjoying, and not they are enjoying, the people who are seeing, they are enjoying the beauty of the situation. And I know there's a guy who goes always to the junction, which is not crowded in my area. He goes to see the people who get down the buses. And it's a pleasant sight, he says. And the people get off the bus and step on the ground, and the way they are walking, it's really fascinating to watch. What kind of dresses that people are wearing, what kind of hairstyles, and immediately he sees the slipper or the shoe that the person is wearing. So he get a good sense of satisfaction by watching the TV at the junction of the actions or the movement that people make. That's how some people use their time for enjoyment. Particularly, it's not mm, uh, prescribed for students because students should be oriented for learning, only learning. They are learning machines. Uh, Even though there are lots of cartoons on TV, on different kinds of channels, uh, parents don't tend to give them a chance to watch a couple of uh, cartoons to get an enjoyment because parents don't think that time is enjoyment for some extent. Children have some kind of stress while they are studying at schools or basically at tuition classes because they are fed the unwanted education which can be seen everywhere in our education system. So they are really reluctant to get that kind of education enthusiastically or with a energetic way and by their own wish. We have to force them to get the education, and with that kind of mental level, they come to home to get rid of that situation. The only source of happiness is watching some cartoons, spending time 2 hours. It's okay for me spending time for 1 hour to 2 hours for getting an enjoyment because it's not ruining your life. Enjoyment is okay for a better life, and for the children who really wants to get a good education, and they should be also directed to get a good education. And when they have some kinds of stress after getting that education, it's okay to get some amount of relaxation which might be around 2 hours or 1.5 hours. And every time they switch on the TV, parents are going to get the part. Don't do that. It's a criminal activity watching cartoons for longer period of time. That's kinds of mental situation that our parents are maintaining. It's one side, it's okay as a result of these economic situation which is happening in our country. Parents don't have any options unless their students get a good education and to step on good positions in the best companies in Sri Lanka, or to send them abroad to do wonderful jobs, even though they have to work 10 hours period of time, not 10 hours, it's a mastery 10 hours or 12 hours or 13 hours of working time is prescribed in any place other than in developed countries, and human rights is described according to the law, not for paperwork. Yes, time is enjoyment. Sometimes people tend to do hobbies. Yes, hobby is some sort of relaxation and enjoyment. You don't get a huge laughs blasting your and blasting your laugh into the people that is around, who are not that is who are around you. Hmm. That's kind of another source of enjoyment that you can get by your heart, not with your teeth or the expressions of your mouth in the form of laughter. It's a sensual relaxation that you can get using your mind, calmness, and engaging in an activity that you really liked. That's life. Time is enjoyment for those kinds of people having such kind of hobbies. Yes, I would like to ask you, do you really have an hobby which you have been maintaining since your childhood? Most of the people don't have an hobby. They are neglecting and they are rejecting that hobbies are not for the people in Sri Lanka. Hobbies are not hobbies are not a thing for the people who don't have enough money. So if you really have a big amount of money, your life is going to be a hobby. And people are thinking, yes, it's okay not to have a hobby, earning money, spending time uh, meaningfully. That's life. My idea is completely different. When you are working, your hobby relaxes your mind, your body, and it makes you really happy. Otherwise, if you don't have a particular hobby, you are jumping from this branch to that branch and that branch to the ground level, and again you are climbing the tree with the help of the bark of the tree, and you are jumping here and there without having a specified hobby which entertains you. So at first, it's better to find an enjoyable, entertaining hobby that can relax your mind. People are uh, rejecting uh, hobby, the necessity of a hobby. Time is enjoyment. Sometimes time can be converted into an enemyship. As the time goes by, the best friend can be the best enemy and the killer of your life and your journey. I have met such couple of friend enemies, and most of the time when we are talking with people, yes, when we are talking about the gangship that they were maintaining when they were really young, and they were telling that yes, we had a wonderful gun, not gun, wonderful gang, and the members who were in that gang were wonderfully well, and they are really skillful people, and we have a unique desire to be fulfilled, and we work for fulfilling that aim. And sometimes some guys went out of the track and uh, get and use the the group for their uh, to their advancement, not advancement, I didn't have that word. I don't have the word. For their benefits, yes, benefit is the word, for their benefits. So time is enemyship. You can breed enemies as the time goes by, and sometimes you can convert that enemy into one of the best friends you can have during your entire lifestyles, mm, which is not going to be changed. That's life. Time controls almost everything. For instance, your life is controlled by the time. Your death point is determined by the time. Even though it's determined by the unseen universal powers or the karma as described in certain uh, doctrines of Lord Buddha and other religious teachers also. Don't get angry with me, and though I am mentioning Lord Buddha, it has come to me because it's my religion, so I have been taught during my school age about those kinds of teachings, and I have experienced some of those, and I am really fascinated about them to get that experience. So that's why those kinds of experiences spring from me without my intervention. Right. And time is everything. So people really want to get extra time. For instance, we can get there is an exam which is for that exam. Uh, Everybody is allowed 2 hours period of time, and it's closing uh, the end part of the exam, and students people are thinking, yes, if I had 5 minutes more, I would get a great pass for this, and I had an excessive amount of time. I was sleeping during the exam. I have finished it 1 hour before the end time, for the finishing time. Some people are using their time. Some people don't have enough time, even though there is a fixed time, and some people have much time. The time is really too big for them to do that work be done. Mm, they are the clever people who want to be clever in the future in terms of hard working. They have worked in sites or in various types of fields for hard working, because the people who have get a good education are provided good job opportunities, and though they can wear clean clothes, clean trousers, or beautiful dresses which fits uh, for working in that kind of official environment. They are not allowed. Sometimes there's a saying that why A students work for C students. There's a book also, Simple Book Channels. While I was watching that Simple Book Channel, there was a comment. There's a selection of two books to be described in the next meeting of that Simple Book Channel. Why A students work for C students is a fascinating thing to think of. Even though we get a good education in Sri Lanka, uh, if they really don't have any idea for starting a business, they really have to work for other people, even though they get a good A pass, or sometimes it's not a matter whether the employees have education or not. When they have good approaches of business ideas, they create a business, and they hire people who has a higher amount of qualifications than other people. Like time is what you're talking about. Time is I don't remember I was talking about. Let's take and time and life. We were talking about time and the schedule time, the lack of time and the excessive of time. Yes, some people consider it's not good to use. Some people think, but all the time consider. Some people consider uh, after you have reached the age of 30, it's enough learning something new. Now it's the time for earning. So there's some a bit of gap, not gap, there are limitation that time provides you in different stage of your life. This is not the time for education. This is not the time for getting an improvement. This is the time to get a training program. Likewise, there are a lots of time oriented goals that people trying to get. Actually, if we think deeply, if we are really conscious about the real meaning of this word, we are not late and we are not early. We are doing wonderfully well according to us. We are the only unique one. Not we are. You are the only unique one in your time. So you are not late. You are not in a hurry. So you are doing wonderfully well. You just have to enjoy what's from the thing that you are doing now. You can't just compare with other people because it's other people's life and this is your life. You can't compare your life with other people. If other people compare their life with you, they are not spending their life fully. So time, yes, time has a limitations, and the school finishes at the time of 1:30 p.m. and it starts 7:30. That's time. Even though there are watches on everybody's hands, they are watching the watch every time, and most of the time we can't see the people who work really on time. Even myself also, I'm not boasting and I'm not advising you and I'm not going to be a senior than you and so to be superior than you. I'm in your boat. But I'm trying to be corrected by myself. Usually I get not gets I get 5 minutes late for my every class. That's the usual behavior. Even though the time is 9:30 starting point, I get ready in a hurry at 9:30 and I get all the time 5 minutes late. And I'm thinking being late 5 minutes it's okay because Sri Lankan people they are thinking they have to work on time. They really get 5 minutes late even though they are trying to be on time. Sometimes to be on time is a good not good. It's a pressure to your mind because we are not mastering how to use time. There are no subjects uh, that we can do in our school time or in our university life also. I have never ever come across, I have never ever found uh, such kind of subjects in the fields of management also. And I have searched so many diplomas or courses and degrees, little in a certain in a small vacant areas we can see the time management, likewise but touching the level, not searching the whole picture of the time management. Yes, time and time management is a wonderful topic also to talk a longer hours. I think I will also get another chance to talk on the same topic time. Now I'm reaching 56 minutes of talking. It's wow. I'm encouraging people speak anything that comes to your mind. Don't get hesitate. You just speak. When you speak, you are going through your path. So you are easing and you find the difficulties and the problematic situations that you can face along the journey. So don't maintain problematic thinking. You just speak, creating a wonderful platform that thinking that I am really comfortable. I'm not worried, even though the words are not coming in favor of me. Things are not going for my side. It's okay. You just speak, maintaining a calm position. You could see while I was speaking before, I'm speaking and I forget some words most of the time, and I do grammar mistakes even though I'm fluent with writing format. That's the nature of it. I'm not editing this video, and I just speaking and online publishing. You can see how many people, how many teachers are broadcasting their live speaking sessions to be seen to the people, and those kinds of people can get a good understanding in what manner the teachers are proceeding their spoken English ability, and they can come into a conclusion that teachers are also doing mistakes. So what about us? Yes, it's common to do mistakes all the time, and while you are moving forward, if you really have the ability to convey your ideas in a written format, when you are written, when you write, you are writing, when you are writing, you are thinking deeply, and you are creating your own patterns and the way ahead, that how you can give the real ideas in a meaningful way. So when you're speaking, you just have limited amount of pauses, because when you get some pauses that other person can see, and he sees that you are stopping in a certain place and you cannot move forward, you don't have words. So that kind of mentality that people are maintaining in terms of speaking. So you have never ever seen the struggling part of my speaking career. So I was struggling most of the time to express my ideas using this format of speaking. Mm, and you also have to face such kind of difficulties, but in a not in a pressurable, not in a pressure way, in a pressure attitude. Even though the situation is not easy or very interesting, you have to move on, go on, and then you will reach to the place to the top that you really interested in. Wow, I have achieved 1 hour's period of time speaking. So it's 1 hour and 13 seconds, 14 seconds, 15 seconds, and seconds are going on. So today also I have completed wonderfully 1 hour's talking time. During this time, I am really sure what kind of mistakes that I have done. I have done lots of mistakes in terms of grammatically. But I don't care. But I know I did these mistakes. And again, when I am using next times those kinds of phrases or the idea similar to this, I'm the person not going to do the same mistakes. Sometimes it may be 2 or 3 times doing the same mistakes. I remember the other time it will be corrected by myself, my inner consciousness and behavior. So I'm really happy. I have uh, achieved only 2 hours speaking sessions of 10,000 hours speaking, which was provided by a YouTuber. If you really want to be perfect, please complete 10,000 hours of experience in uh, the particular field that you really want to be, uh, want to get the perfection. All right, it's enough. I'm thinking it's enough. Even though I was talking, I have been talking for at least 1 hour. I'm not feeling so tired, and I am enjoying the situation. I'm pretty sure this might happen for you also, but you have to go on some amount of sessions, uh, a bit of low level of mindset, and it's continuously treating you in a negative manner while you are doing those kinds of sessions. It's a pressure. Your mind words are not coming. Why I'm shaming by myself. Likewise, lots of feelings are going here and there around your mind. But you should not let your mind to control you. You should control your mind, and you should have the ability to get your enjoyment, success, and your journey achieved by yourself. All right. I'm going to end these sessions. I don't know how many participants have been watching this one. So I'm really happy if one or two person might be if one or two person might be watching uh, the topic that I was talking or I have been talking about. All right.